Hello learners. In this session of Introducing the Internet, we are going to learn about the following topics. The topics are surfing, internet domain, names, and addresses. Let's begin with surfing. Web surfing describes the act of browsing the internet by going from one web page to another using hyperlinks in an internet browser. Online aggregation services allows us to surf the internet. Some of the most popular places include Reddit, StumbleUpon, and Pinterest. Also, we can use a search engine such as Google to search for anything that interests us. In reference to the surfing, it's all about navigation. As we go through the steps to reach a good recipe for a nice meal, we must navigate something. The meaning of internet surfing is the navigation from page to page on the World Wide Web using hyperlinks. So basically, it's the thing that we call internet browsing. There are an endless number of live websites now, and the number of web pages continues to grow every day. Browsing allows us to find what we are looking for easily, but other things make internet surfing easier. Learn about internet domain. An internet domain name is your own internet address which you have registered as part of a national or international internet domain. It is an integral part of a website and email address and thus identifies you on the internet. In everyday use, the term internet domain is also used when referring to an internet domain name. Now, let's learn about the names. Domain name system helps to resolve the host name to an address. It uses a hierarchical naming scheme and distributed database of IP addresses and associated names. IP address is a unique logical address assigned to a machine over the network. Now, let's learn some properties of IP address. IP address is 32 bits or 4 bytes long. IP address consists of two components, network component and host component. Each of the 4 bytes is represented by a number from 0 to 255 separated with dots. For example, 137.170.4.124. Next is URL. Uniform Resource Locator or URL refers to a web address which uniquely identifies a document over the internet. Absolute URL is a complete address of resource on the web. This completed address comprises of protocol used, server name, path name, and file name. While there is a relative URL, which is a partial address of a web page. Unlike absolute URL, the protocol and server part are omitted from relative URL. Let's learn about DNS architecture. Domain name system architecture. The domain name system comprises of domain names, domain namespace, name server that have been described below. Domain names. Domain name is a symbolic string associated with an IP address. There are several domain names available. Some of them are generic as com, edu, gov, net, etc. While some country level domain names such as AU, in, ZA, US, etc. Addresses. Name server. Name server contains the DNS database. This database comprises of various names and their corresponding IP addresses. The information is distributed among many DNS servers. Domain name space. The domain namespace refers a hierarchy in the Internet name structure. This hierarchy has multiple levels from 0 to 127 with a root at the top. Zones. Zone is collection of nodes under the main domain. The server maintains a database called zone file or for every zone.